Here on the flight line at Andrews, there are two F-16s, fueled, armed, and ready to fly. The pilots of the 113th D.C. Air National Guard wing sleep in their flight suits as they only have a few minutes to intercept a plane headed to the Capitol before it's too late. And keep in mind, before 9/11, this mission didn't exist.
Our perspective every time the klaxon goes off when we scramble is that it's a real-world event, just like it was on 9/11. We've done more than 5,000 since 9/11, and no fail means we're now defending our nation's borders and our way of life, our families. Fox News, you name it, all the viewers out there, we're here to defend you, and we're very proud of that.
And we are proud of them. The man who commands this group of flyers knows the realities of what happened on 9/11 all too well, because he was dispatched to intercept Flight 93 on that day. Here with us now, Major General Marc Sasseville. General, appreciate you always being here with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
The biggest difference between now and 9/11 is when you took off, you were unarmed.
That's true. It was a dangerous time for all of us. A lot of unknowns out there. We had to make some very quick decisions on the spot. And we did not have time to get weapons loaded. The subsequent pilots that took off after me and my wingman certainly did, but that was our entry into the Homeland Defense mission as it is today, the way we see it. We have multiple sites around the country that do the very same thing.
This is by far the busiest one, as we learned. We flew along with some of your pilots a couple of days ago on Friday and got to see really firsthand how quickly things happen in the air. From the time we took off to the time we were out over the water, out over Maryland at Mach 1, was 4, 5, 6 minutes. It gave you a sense, really, of how quickly, if something like 9/11 happened again, how quickly these pilots would have to make decisions.
You're absolutely right. Everything's compressed in today's environment. Speed is the essence of life. And so in this air defense mission that we perform as part of the total Air Force, that translates into the other things that we do as a National Guard in terms of homeland response. We're there to support local and state authorities with a bunch of other areas of involvement like firefighting, floods, hurricanes, all of those events, search and rescue, all of those events require very fast decision-making speed.
So when we went up, we were on a training mission with about 8 different pilots, 8 F-16s. A lot of those guys that we were flying with, the tankers we ended up tanking from, the tankers that are flying, supporting the mission against ISIS, the guys are flying here in an F-16 and tomorrow maybe flying your family on vacation for Delta or Southwest or something like that.
Absolutely. The Air National Guard is a community-based organization. We have 105,000 dedicated professionals who have multiple careers. They'll have a career, like you said, with a company, maybe they're self-employed, some work in government. They have a second career with us. And some have prior service, some don't. It's just a great environment for people who want to continue to serve their country, be part of something big.
It was Donald Rumsfeld who talked about there's known unknowns and unknown unknowns. And it seemed as though on 9/11 it was the unknown unknown that came to bite us, and it was why we weren't ready, why there wasn't missiles on the planes that you took off in. Is there thinking now about how to stay ahead of the threat, how to protect the air against the next threat rather than the threat we saw on 9/11?
Things have changed quite a bit, obviously, since 9/11. When I think of that day and those events, I get a little nauseous, and if I really dwell on it, frankly, I get a little angry. I think we've come a long way since then. We're doing much better at exploring what those unknowns are out there. We're looking at things quite differently, and we're in a much better place than we were on that day.
The one thing that is universal when you talk to not only pilot level but also command and general staff level is we are more ready, but at the same time we aren't as ready because we don't have the funding to train as much as we want, to have as new of equipment as we want, to have as much equipment as we want. Is that still an issue for the Air Guard?
So as the Air Guard, we are fully integrated in what we call the total Air Force. Active component, the Guard, the reserves, the civilians. We're in all core mission areas that the Air Force flies in. We help with the satellites that are doing very important things. We have cyber warriors securing and defending our networks. We have intel analysts. We fly fuel, people, equipment, supplies around the world in support of the joint force and our coalition and international allies. And we're engaged in a fight, destroying the enemy where we find them. All of that requires funding.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
It's a long list.
Funding.
It's a long list. Are you getting more funding? Is there a feeling that the spigots are going to open again and these guys are going to be able to train more? You're going to be able to modernize and add some new toys to the F-16s?
What I can say is that it would greatly help us to have stable and predictable funding lines. We can really go a long way in regaining a lot of the readiness that we've lost over the years, and a big part of that would be to increase our manpower. If we can get more people, that would really help the people that are left behind still doing the mission with minimum manning get back up on the step and increase America's readiness.
Well, we understood sort of firsthand from your experience how important that readiness is. General, appreciate you being here. Happy 4th of July to you and to your men as well who have been so welcoming to us.
Thank you, Leland. Nice to be with you.
Thanks.